Nancy, whiskey I chanced to smell. I get in, drank 4 and 6 pence, all was left was a crooked scale. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey, 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 Nancy, oh. I'll gang back to the Calton Weave, and I surely make the shuttles fly, for I'll mack more at the Calton Weavin' than ever I did in the roving trade. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey, 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 Nancy, oh. Come all you weavers, Calton weavers, and all you weavers, where'er you be, beware of whiskey, Nancy, whiskey, she'll ruin you as she ruined me. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey, 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 Nancy, oh. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey, 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 Nancy, oh. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey, 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 Nancy, oh. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey, 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 Nancy, oh.